is very interesting.
So you better keep smiling.
Sherry. I'm part of the winner zone. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of HR Intervention Season 2. Hi, Ajit.
Hello. I suddenly went freeze my screen. Can you imagine at the beginning itself? Oh,
Seriously, it froze?
yes, it did for a while.
You know why it froze? Because you know what's this weekend? It's time to vote.
Yes,
So
yes.
please do time first, and then it's time to move fast forward.
Correct. Freeze, make a change, and move fast forward. You're exactly right. The change model.
So where are you? Where are you voting at, Ajit?
Pataling Jaya, where are you?
I am in Damansara.
Make the right decision.
We should ask our audiences.
Audience.
Where are you guys voting this weekend? Ajit asked me earlier, where are you going to vote? I said, I'm not voting, just to annoy him a little bit.
I will disown you if you don't vote.
I know, man. I think you will come to my house and drag me out if I don't vote.
Yes. Do your responsibility.
Yes, it's a responsibility, even if it's a two-hour queue or whatever.
Yes, exactly.
We have to do what we need to do. So Ajit, can you believe it? We are actually back with episode 11.
11, exactly.
And as always, we're so excited, isn't it? And honored to have a lot of them here today. Today's topic is something that I'm really looking forward to, as it relates so much to what I do on a daily basis and why I do them actually. So not only that, we're also having an amazing speaker for this topic, and I'm also so excited to bring him in. But before that, Ajit, can you please explain a little bit about our show, especially to, I'm sure we have some new audiences.
Yes, of course. Pleasure is all mine. For the new audiences who have joined us, thank you for joining us. My name is Ajit. And how are you guys doing? Hope everybody's doing great today. Don't forget, we are going to vote this weekend. So we have got our logo there. Vote wisely. Okay, anyway, here is a little bit about the show. This is about HR interventions and it's commonly known as HR TV, an online talk brought to you by Compass Mind Asia, a well-known training provider company throughout Malaysia and also in Asia. Okay, this show is where we interview HR experts about everything related to HR and career development topics. For this season, we have already interviewed many people. We have interviewed topics like how to ace your talent development, essential leadership traits. And prior to this, our last session was about leadership development and succession planning, which was featuring an international speaker. That was a big success for us. There was many questions that was being asked. And for those who have missed out all our wonderful session, stay tuned. You can always go back and watch it on Shireen's YouTube channel, Shireen Kelly. You will see the tag appearing at the bottom here. All recorded sessions are there. Please feel free to look at it, watch it, and learn a little bit. And do leave your comments as well.
Yay. Shall we say hello to Farida? Farida is going to be voting at Alor Gajah, Melaka. Iliana is going to Sungai Koyan, Kuala Lumpur.
Oh, where is that? Kuala Lumpur. Oh, okay. Alex voting in Seremban.
And where is Theo? Kim Lai. Theo, where are you voting? Let us know.
He says hi.
Yeah. Anyway, this show, if you are new here, is basically for everyone who has a job, or even looking for a job, or even getting a job. You can be a business owner, an MD, a GM, or a C level, or especially if you are a HR. Definitely, this show is for you. You'd love to know who. Actually, we love to know who is watching, and because we've had audiences from a lot of parts of the world, isn't it, Ajit? Even last week was
Yes.
last episode was like you said, international speaker. We had people from US, we had people from Australia before, Cambodia, Singapore, so quite a number of places. So where are you from? Let us know so that we can say hello to you. um,
We have Carol who says she's voting in Kuala Selangor. Theo is voting in Terengganu. As husband says hello.
Oh, hi, husband. And Jocelyn, she says, I'm new here. Hi, Jocelyn. Nice to see you. Let us know
Welcome,
where you're going to
welcome.
be voting from. Welcome to the show. Well, it's a lot about voting today. And before we dive in further into the topic today, for those who don't know me yet, I'm Shireen Kelly, the Managing Director of Compass Mind Asia. And with me is...
Koljit Singh, that's my name, but everybody calls me Ajit, and that's my nama manja. And I am the HR Director, APAC for Flexis. I work, and this is something that I do out of passion. Welcome to our HR Intervention Season 2, Episode 11.
Welcome again, everyone. To those who have just joined us, comment in the comment section where you're joining in from. We really want to know where you're from. And if you're in the same time zone as us and you're having your lunch break, let us know what you're eating so that we can make Koljit a little bit hungry. Since he
Yeah.
just keropok in Malay, papadam in Indian, English is what? I have no idea.
Crispy
Chips.
chips. Chips.
Crispy chips.
Yes.
Poor guy just had crispy chips for lunch. And to my fellow Malaysians, as we are talking about general election, and vote, vote, vote. Well, our general election is coming on this Saturday. You all know that. Why don't you comment down below? Let us know, for those who haven't commented, where are you voting from? Just share with us if where you're voting, because it'll be so exciting to know. Maybe we might even bump into a voting center. So
And there Jocelyn just texted, she's from Perak, and she's voting in Shah Alam.
okay, yeah,
Okay,
let
for
us
those who
know
are
if...
traveling, the
Yeah.
government has given you time off, so please utilize that, travel to wherever you need to, and vote.
And free toll also, on the
Yeah,
18th, 19 is
exactly.
free toll. Can't
Wonderful,
believe
man. Really, really
it.
wonderful.
I know. So guys, let us know where you're voting from, but don't let us know who you're voting for, okay? That's a secret only for us to know. Anyways, before we stray away from the topic today, I think it's time for us to invite our guests. Shall we, Koljit?
Yes, before we go on, allow me to introduce our guest. Our guest has got 15 years of talent management, retail, sales, fitness industries experience. He has worked for many organizations, GLCs, and startups. He has a master's degree in business specializing in project management from University of Southern Queensland, Australia. He's also HRDF certified trainer with Lean Six Sigma belt. He loves coaching talent and for any organization, and he supports professionals in goal settings, personal growth, and also behavior modification to achieve greatness in their actions, and to also take control of future plans. And he believes very strongly that there is a need to drive business forward, and customers' expectation will only be achieved by focusing on the people. Following fellow audience, please welcome VP of Talent Management, OD, and Leadership from Bank Muamalat, Ryan Irwan.
Hi, Ryan.
Hi. Hi,
Ryan.
good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us today. It is such an
My
honor to have you
pleasure.
here. How are you
Pleasure,
doing?
pleasure. Doing very good. Thank you so much, Kojit and Shireen, for inviting me for this session. Really appreciate it.
Pleasure
Looking
having you.
forward.
Yeah, you know what? We definitely would love. I'm sure I definitely would love, and the audience also would love to know more about you. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself? Because Koljit said some things about you just now already, but perhaps maybe the more personal side about you, your hobbies, some trivial facts that we don't know of. Those exciting stuff.
Yeah, I think I wanted to share one fun facts about me. Especially now we are in the pandemic end phase of the pandemic stage. I always wanted to complete an Ironman for myself. For those who
Oh,
don't know or not familiar with Ironman, it's actually a marathon of
marathon.
running, cycling, and also swimming. So I registered myself for an Ironman to complete Ironman in 2020. Then there's the lockdown, so the Ironman in Langkawi got cancelled, and then we work from home, and I gained weight like everybody else who's working from home. And then now, if I want to register myself again, I have to go through the entire cycle of losing back the weight, getting back the momentum, getting back the pace of running and cycling and everything. With the workload and also with the studies that I'm doing, I'm actually continuing my study. So that's a little bit fun fact about me. So I hope the audiences can get in touch with me and motivate me lah. 2023 Ryan is the time lah. Go and register and complete your dream lah to be an Ironman finisher.
I'm never going to leave you alone. I'm going to start pushing you to
Thank
your
you.
limit, and you can do it. And you say you're
Yeah.
studying now, PhD?
Oh yeah. I am trying lah. Sure, trying.
No try in the word. You are doing. Just do it. Remember, Nike,
Let's do
just
it.
do it.
Just do it. Yes. So I enrolled last year. For those who are familiar, there are 5 chapters to complete a doctoral thesis. Yeah, pretty good. God bless. I'm in chapter 3 already, so 2 more chapters to
Wow,
go. Hopefully, after Viva and everything, it's completed lah. Yeah.
Great job.
fantastic.
That's
That's
why,
good.
I
That's
don't
good
want to use the,
progress.
yeah. And I don't want to use the word try, so I never got into it in the first place. I'm too scared of it. PhDs, master's
So Ryan,
PhD.
where will you be voting?
I will be voting in Subang,
Ah,
Subang Jaya. Yeah, so it's pretty nearby. It's actually a school behind my house, so I think I can just literally just walk there, lah, basically.
oh, nice.
Let's
Yeah,
hope for good weather on that day. Not too hot,
yeah,
not
yeah.
rainy either. Yeah.
Absolutely. For those of everyone will be going out for voting. Please take care of yourself. Have a mask that's always with you, and sanitize your hand frequently, lah. It's important.
Yeah, stay safe.
Stay safe. Stay safe.
Yeah. Okay, Fauzia, one of our audience is voting in Ampang. Florence will be
Wow.
also voting in Ampang.
Wow. Hot seat.
Interesting. Yes, hot seat. Your vote really matters.
Hot seat.
Oh,
Okay, a little bit about the topic today.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, when big organization, pioneer organization like General Motors, General Electrics introduced in-house training programs and they standardized this learning 100 years ago, their focus was primarily just to look at day-to-day activity, day-to-day skills, day-to-day learning. But by now, many organizations have realized that there is more beyond just day-to-day activity. Some actually have thought that this probably would just be will leave this to the academic to just manage, but that's not so right. So there is a lot of development that has unfolded, and this huge organization are now trying to grasp with tools and platforms to facilitate knowledge sharing and also employee interaction on an almost limitless scale. So it's so huge, and there's so much that they can do in organization. So with this, today we are actually going to learn more about about organization. How do they develop learning programs, and what are the benefit and the best way to do this? So let's begin the topic with our first question. Ryan, are you ready?
Yes, I am, Ajit.
Okay.
Yay.
For the audience, as we go along, if you have any questions to chip in, please feel free to leave your questions at your comments. We will pick it up as we go along. Okay. Over to you, Shireen.
Thank you. And looks like Ryan Rashpal is also voting from Subang Jaya. Hopefully not. Don't know whether it's the same school. Then y'all can wave at
Hi,
each other.
Rashpa. Yeah, yeah. I'll
All the
be in
old
USJ 20.
Rashpal, are you USJ 20?
Yeah.
We'll hear from here as we go along. So, Koljit did tell the audiences, please put in some questions. If you have any questions, Ryan would love to answer them as we go
True.
along. So, we'll start with the first question, Ryan. You know, when we first contacted you to be our guest on the show, you mentioned
Mhm.
that your experiences in different organizations, you've had several observations in the L&D method, right? The way they used the methods used by the various organizations, they seem to have same patterns when it comes to L&D. Would really like you to share with the audiences what you've shared with us. But before that, can you tell us what made you decide on this topic, the learning at the speed of business growth?
Yeah, thank you for the great question, Shireen. Reason why I decided to talk about and discuss today afternoon about this topic is because it's very near and close to me. When I was hired in Domino's, I started off learning and development at a larger scale when I was in Domino's, because I remembered vividly what was the objective and how they want to actually grow the business. So when I was hired in Domino's, I actually managed only Domino's Malaysia at a start, and then it expands to multiple countries lah, basically. So Domino's, when I joined, it was, for example, 100 outlet branches across Malaysia, but they ultimately know that they want to grow to 300 plus outlets. And in Singapore, at the start, there's only 10 outlets, and they wanted to grow to 5 times of that size, which is 50 outlets. And they have another country in Cambodia also that they want to expand. So when you talk about an organization with that kind of vision, with that kind of big, hairy, audacious goal of growing outlets, and you want to grow your business, you always have to have a good resources. That the human capital needs to be good, human capital needs to be well trained, especially in food service industry, because everything requires training in that nature of business. So it's very close to me, and I see a lot of obstacles that can be can be actually, you can mediate the challenges and actually perform way better. And when I go to other organizations which have already been into a certain size and want to expand, the rigidness of the decision making and so on and so forth actually hold back a lot of their potential, hold back a lot of their ability to grow. So I'm sure there's a lot of business owners also here in the session today, other than a HR practitioner that's listening in, or maybe later on they will be listening in. So my piece of advice, my 2 cents of advice, is do not stinge on people development. Do not stinge on people development. If you want your business to grow, if you want your revenue size or profit before tax or whatever it may be, you've got to invest on people development, because human capital is the important ingredient to make sure that growth is sustainable.
Woohoo! I like that. Do not stinge on people development. I
Yeah.
love. Okay, so we have Sital from Nepal. We have Rashpal. She's voting in USJ.
Oh,
And
USJ too. Okay. Okay.
Sanjay from Sanjay asked about personal branding. All right, Koljit, do you want to go into question two?
Yeah, okay, let's move on. Before we go any further, let's start with the basics. Can you explain to us how you define organization learning?
Oh, okay. So there's a lot of definitions on organizational learning. I'm just sharing my definition, my personal definition. Organizational learning is something is very close to how you manage the performance in the organization when you do your annual performance review, midterm performance review, or next year goal setting. I think that is what I define on organizational learning. It needs to be something that you will be focusing on in the future to develop yourself. And the leader needs to have the confidence and also the consistency to ensure that this is communicated well, and this is also communicated frequently. So once this is instilled in a culture of the organization, regardless if it's a 1,000 size employee organization or if it's a 10 person employee organization, if it's consistent, Koji, everybody is talking about development in regards to learning, something that you want to learn. Right now, especially Koji, there's a lot of avenues that you can learn. There's TED Talk lah, there's YouTube, there's LinkedIn Learning, a lot, and there's Compass Mind. That's why you need to have this conversation done frequently. Trust me, if everybody is speaking about learning, then the organization is a learning organization. So the organization is a group of people coming together. So if the people is not talking or does not have the lingo in communicating or conversing in regards to learning and growth, then the organization is not a learning organization. Although they would like to call them as a learning organization usually. So you need to go back to your organization and deep dive and understand and look at your peers lah, basically. Yeah, are they talking about learning, or are they talking about, I can learn this there, I can learn this here? Simple things. But if you have that frequently, then that's my definition, at the very least, from my point of view, Koji, of a learning organization or organizational learning.
Okay, that's very insightful. Coming together, having the same lingo, talking about it, and wanting to learn. I would totally agree with you. If people don't talk about it, it never happens. So
Correct.
At least
Correct.
it happens.
we have
Correct.
James Fong. He's from Greetings from Malaysia. Okay.
Yeah,
Hi,
he's from
James.
Malaysia. Rayan, another question for you. Why is organization learning important for an organization as a whole?
Yeah, I think it's important because business growth and also the new trends of business is coming whether you like it or not. Those were the days. Look at Nokia, look at Kodak. They used to be the number one in their market or in their industry. So what happens to them? They don't evolve is because lack of learning and growth, basically. So there's a lot of examples that we can refer to. Those were the days where we used films, right? I was over this weekend, past last weekend, I was in One Utama, and I was passing by. There's one camera shop, the only one camera shop that is, I think, still up and running lah. A lot of the camera shops in Subang, it's already closed down. So, actually it's quite difficult. So sometimes you want to do passport or visas, they ask you to go and take picture, right? You have to go and, but it's very limited right now. So you just imagine, if you are in an industry where, the company that you're in or the organization that you are in are not really talking about scaling, growing, or sustainable development of people, then it's a ticking bomb. In my honest opinion, so you really have to look into it's really a ticking bomb. You could be the next Nokia, you could be the next Kodak, you could be the next brothers. The typewriter, the brand brother. It shows how old I am, lah. But okay, let's not go there.
I wanted to brother. That's a good one. When you were talking about the camera shop in One Utama, is it at the new, in between the old and the new
In
wing?
between, yes.
Yes. I know that's like so hard to find, right?
Yes.
We have a question from Chanel Shuhaimi. Should employee development only focus on company's objectives focus, or could it also cater on employees' personal interests? After screening, after it's screened by the company, of course.
Yeah. Very, very good question. Just to share a little bit of what I have seen and what I have recommended personally from my previous organization, not the current one, the immediate previous organization. So you can go through my profile and check out what company it is lah. Don't want to mention here. So the idea that I wanted to drive is the culture of learning, the culture of, you want to learn bite size and so on and so forth. So you want to instill the culture. It's important that leaders provide the flexibility first, provides the flexibility for them to choose what program they want to learn. Sometimes people in HR want to learn coding. Sometimes people in HR want to do art and design. Sometimes, it's so on and so forth. So at the first, the bosses or the board of directors say, hey, why would we want to invest in such training where it does not have an immediate impact or correlation to what we do as a business, right? But my way of countering that kind of thought process is that you want to instill culture, you have to start small. So if you want to achieve something, it goes on the habit, right? So if you have established a small habit of people wanting to learn, eventually when you want to introduce Lean Six Sigma, you want to introduce development, what training, it's much more easier, and they are more acceptable and susceptible to the idea. So be strategic to answer Chanel Shohaimi. I think that's my answer. I think it's a yes. If you want to drive the culture of learning, start with the small habit first.
Great advice there. Hope that answers you, Chanel. And before
Yeah,
we continue with next question, actually, let's have a question for the audience instead. Does your organization prioritize learning among its talents? Come, let us know. We would love to know more.
yeah,
And if you have any questions or opinions, please feel free, like how Chanel did, put your comments or questions into the comment
yeah.
section and we'll try to answer them.
Thank you, Chanel, for the question. I think it really, it's really close to me because I've seen it, I've done it before, and I think it's important. But I do understand where Chanel is coming from, Shireen, because
Yeah.
most organizations will face what I faced with my previous organization. Usually, they will ask, why would we want to invest in such, for example. But then you never know, there's right now with this kind of exposure, a lot of organizations have the ability to deploy and redeploy talents within the organization. Sometimes people have stayed here in HR, for example, for about 1 or 2 years, and then suddenly find out that this guy or this lady is a very good marketeer and actually can do a lot of design and comms and can write well, and then he or she may be better in other department or divisions. I also have seen somebody that is in customer service but absolutely rock on designs and everything, and then can do corporate comms, just because by sending and opening up an idea and say, hey, you can go to this training and see how it goes. So they go to the training and then eventually they do in the department poster, small poster to communicate, hey, customer service have done this, blah, blah, blah. And the Marcom manager actually saw the poster and said, hey, how come your poster is more nicer than my poster? And then you can, I mean, this actually happens by a small gesture and allowing people to cultivate what they want to learn, basically. Yeah. A lot of
Mm,
potential, a lot of potential.
multi skills.
Exactly.
You have a lot
Yeah,
of talents
Yeah.
in one person.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well said. No, man with a lot of wisdom. Ryan sharing 15 years of his wisdom with us. What he's talking about is nurturing talent or nurturing
But
people's potential. That's what
correct.
organizations should be addressing. Okay, let's based on what you have observed, Ryan. In most organizations today, what would you say would be the biggest challenge faced when it comes to implementing learning and development ta- talents?
I think the biggest challenge in my point of view, Koljit, is that most of the supervisors or the superiors have an ideal or the picture of the end state of where the organizations wants to be, where the divisions or the department wants to be, and he or she have already know what kind of gaps there is in that division or department or the company. Of course, like as a leader, you know where your team gaps are, right? And Then you, as a leader, try to prescribe lah. You jadi doctor. You are the doctor. You're trying to prescribe. Oh, okay, you need this medicine. You need that medicine. You need that medicine. But this in this context, okay, Ryan, you need this training, that training, this training. But the challenge here is actually articulating the vision so that everybody understand, have a same wavelength, and then selling the important. As a leader, you got to be a good salesman also, right? So you got to sell the vision, sell the idea, sell the end state. Hence this is reason why you need to go through this training and development. And then as a employee, you are much more motivated, right? So then only the learning will actually be well thought through lah. Basically, you learn and you apply immediately after you have gone through whatever learning that you have gone through. So I think that is the biggest challenge, because in what I've seen, Kolji, we have a lot of training funds, HRDF lah, bank funds, your personal company budget training also. But sometimes most of organizations, and also I'm also guilty in it. Sometimes we just want to plug calendars inside training plans. Right? But we have to be a better salesman, lah, Kulji. In short, that is the answer to the question, lah. We have, as a leaders, everyone here, I believe at a certain extent you are a leader. You have to have a good method of articulating the vision, selling the idea, and getting your people to really buy in, and knowing that, okay, once you've gone through this, then we have this kind of achievement, then the results is such, and you can benefit from this. So yeah, being a good salesman is really, really important and crucial, Koji.
Awesome.
Agreed,
Well,
agreed.
we have a question from Sanjay. He says, actually, we have quite a lot of questions. Okay. We have a question from Sanjay. He asked if you could advise him how to grow in personal branding, whether will it help to have a tool or more on consistency. I think this is very targeted already on personal branding.
Yeah, I don't know whether if I'm the expert to talk about personal branding. No, not many people know me anyway, Sanjay. But I will try. I will try. I think my answer to your question, if I were to choose between the two, help of a tool and consistency, I think I will choose consistency. I will personally choose consistency. I think if you want to be out there in the market, and I think you want to be recognized, first you have to do favors first. You have to recognize people. I was trained in a way that by Gary V, one of the videos, actually just sharing Gary V's videos and also his insights. Very thoughtful person. Just spend, if I'm not mistaken, he was saying to spend at least 2 minutes a day, just 2 minutes a day, but needs to be consistent, lah, Sanjay. 2 minutes a day, ensuring that if you want to build up your personal brand, consistently replying or commenting on other people's posts and genuinely be interested to know more about that post. Genuinely be interested to know more about that person. Be genuine, but consistently for 2 minutes a day, repeat it for 3 months. You will gain followers, you will gain presence, you will gain a lot of people commenting and replying back to your post when you post anything on social media. And eventually, when that happens in a repetitive way, your personal brand will grow. Your personal brand will grow. And I've seen this happening to a lot of talents outside there. Young talents right now is very savvy. Internship finished, straight away LinkedIn, followers 40,000, 50,000 on. And they are really an influencer in LinkedIn. I think I can recognize them. It's not easy to be a person with a lot of followers in LinkedIn. It's very tough. It's not like Facebook, it's not like Instagram, right? So yeah, basically he or she just practice that. That's my thoughts lah, Sanjay. I hope I answer your question.
Rayan, I think that is
Very good.
brilliant because you also
Brilliant.
mentioned give before you can receive. So you
Yeah.
give what your strengths are to the people out there. They're listening to you. Write a post, share what your experiences are. Let people
Yeah.
benefit from what you share, and then people will start following you. And that's how, like Rayan says, this young talents, they just become influencers at 40,000 followers. It's amazing how it happens. So try
Yeah.
that, Jay.
Yeah, Shireen, we
Yeah.
have a question from Meghna. Hi, everybody. Can share with us how to develop high performance team in learning and development?
Mm.
Okay, if I understand the question correctly, I think Magna is the person in charge for learning and development. So I think if I understand correctly, you want to develop your internal or in-house L&D team members, if I'm not mistaken. So the way I do this is very activity based those days, and also very actually it's an old school idea. Remember when you were in school, those days teachers would bring you to places for study and visit.
Field trips.
Belajar sambil field visit. Even I can't remember the terms lah. It's lawatan
Belajar
sambil
sambil
belajar.
lawatan
Ah,
Yeah,
sambil
lawatan
belajar,
yeah,
sambil
correct.
belajar.
yeah, correct. So what I did, Koji, just to share with the audience, what I did is I get my L&D team or my team like per se in HR those days to visit Mind Valley, to visit simple Proton, Gardenia also we visit in Shah Alam, right? So and we visited DG HQ in Shah Alam as well. So we visited a lot of these organizations, and we just want to see how they do L&D. We just want to see how they do high performance development, how they do performance management. So we engage with the HR people. So we know about Mind Valley, we know about DG, we know about Gardenia, we know about Proton, and of course we know about what we do, in our organization. So we see where we are. So there's a lot of diagnosis that's happening, and there's a lot of fun. People go out and learn. So togetherness is there. There's a lot of positive vibes when you do this. Magna, if I were to recommend, you want to develop high performance team, you have to have a good culture. All right. If you want to develop a very good high performance in learning and development, you have to have the team that speaks about learning. And then I think the best activity that you can actually introduce to your team, or I recommend you to do these things after COVID subside and everything. I'm sure it's open again. There are a lot of organization that is accepting visitors. Really, there's a lot of organization that's accepting visitors, and you can really just barter trade lah. They come and visit you, you visit them. But seriously, after that activity, we do the employee and net promoter score back then. The ENPS score also rise up. I was a really popular head of department back then, because people were engaged, people see a lot of other possibilities. Sometimes when you sell ideas so much, people will take it with a pinch of salt. But when you bring them and you show them and let them experience, hey, DG does this, Celcom does that, Mind Valley does this. So Mind Valley is only in Bangsa. You can take the trail, and you can literally go to the office and see how the offices are and everything. So it's brilliant idea. I wish you can immediately apply and try it now. All the best though.
That is
Fantastic. I
actually a good
think
idea.
there couldn't be anything better than learning from others. When you do
Yeah.
this type
Yeah.
of visits, you also get to learn what they're doing. You get to improvise your process. You get to benchmark. Fantastic. Well
Correct.
said, Ryan. Let's take another question from Hasman.
And
This is about what is your approach when the employee's interest or direction on development does not align with the organization interest, i.e., they prefer to be a subject matter expert rather than organization leaders. This is quite a common problem, though.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I think yeah, it's very common. People career aspiration changes, as they age. Maybe when you were hired initially, you want to be a leader, but then again, when you find something that you're really passionate about, when you love doing, you just want to be a very technical ladder lah, rather than a management ladder. You want to go to a technical ladder. So what is the approach when employees' interest or direction does not align with where you would want him or her to be on, basically? I think for me, what I will always do is I will not force anybody to fit a role. I will not do that. If that person actually have the guts to come and tell me that, hey Ryan, actually my aspiration changed, I think you have done a good job. If someone, let's say for me lah, if somebody from my team will have the willingness and the ability to say, Ryan, I think my career aspirations have changed. instead of going to a management route, I like to go to a technical route. I really love what I'm doing right now, and I want to really be a good subject matter expert in this line per se. I will give myself a tap on the back, because to have that conversation means you have already established a good working relationship with your subordinates. That's number one. Because otherwise, people will not go and converse with you this manner. If you have that kind of conversation happening, congratulations, I salute you, and you are a good leader, because then you have established a good way of work. Then your people are free to give feedbacks, because right now, particularly in Malaysia, I'm not sure about other countries, but when I was in Domino's, I traveled quite extensively. Asia Pacific, usually people will say yes boss. They don't have that conversational nature. But if we establish this, we are in the higher league basically. I think my answer to Hazman question is, do not try and restrain. Give yourself a pat on the back. You've done a good job, because you established a very good vibe on open communication, free communication and stuff like that. And then just nurture and make sure that he or she is really good SME in whatever he or she wants to be in lah. A leader can't be forced. You need to develop somebody else to be in that pipeline, if you need that person to be filled, that position to be filled. Yeah, I hope I answered your question, Hasman.
Wow, I think you've been answering lots of great questions from the audience with some very, very good answers. Shall
I
we,
hope so.
audience? You are. Shall we shall our audiences give lots of thumbs up and love to Rayan for all the excellent answers to all
Thank
the
you, thank
questions.
you.
We have another from Farida. In fact, I love all the questions coming in. To nurture the training and development culture in the organization, we conduct the exercise of the career development plan for our talent. We have identified the training needs to help the talent close whatever gaps that she has in his current position, and the training needs to upskill and the talent to achieve their career aspiration and objective. That's great, actually. That means
Yeah, that's
they,
good. That's good.
yeah, that's a very good initiative from your company, Farida. So we
Yeah.
have another question for you, Rayan. The
Yeah.
COVID pandemic has put on a huge impact on organizations, right? One of which is the increase in the need to adapt, change, and definitely to learn more. However, despite all that, there are still challenges, as you mentioned, when it comes to learning, right? What do you think? You mentioned some of the challenges just now that exist.
Yeah.
Is it the lack of awareness or reluctance to change, or are there any other reasons that people come across these challenges?
Well, I think in my honest opinion, Shireen, I think it's just human nature. Basically, when when we strike with the pandemic, everybody, all of the organization are hustling to make things run fast, virtually, and then once the endemic phase comes to place, everybody's back in office. Just about couple of months ago, you're talking about flexible work arrangement, hybrid working, blah blah blah, and then suddenly this organization is like, back in the office, my way or the highway. And I think, similarly to learning organizations, like basically the challenges is that you really have to be consistent. You really have to do something, properly, like basically consistently. Basically, that's the key. Just now, Sanjay mentioned, I answered consistency. When you want to do some changes, um, the challenges I think right now is people go back to the norm. Okay, everybody's in office, and then let's get the training to be in house again. Whereas there can be a lot of opportunities in training that once you're doing virtually like this. And I think for me as a learner myself, for certain training, especially the dry subjects,
Mm-hmm.
they would like to do it in the office. Why? Because they want to make sure everybody is there and paying attention. But actually, yeah, my thought process, there's another way of doing it. You can do bite size and you can do virtual. That's better, because You learn when you want to learn as a human being. You learn when you need the information, and bite size it retains better in your daily activities, and small bite size done consistently and frequently, that leads to a lot of change, that leads a lot of learning inside the organizations lah, basically. So yeah, so I think let's change the way we do things, let's change the way we see things, and instead of the traditional way, always look into what are the opportunities. The classical one and the most famous is growth mindset lah. Always think of a way, what can you do better, how can you do this faster. So growth mindset is the key, and also a method that I would use for me personally to always be consistent in seeking for betterment in anything that I would do. Growth mindset is the key.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay,
Oh,
interesting. We have got a guest joining us, Shin Tianxi. Hello, greetings from Ipoh. Okay.
Bye.
So, Ryan, you did speak about some challenges, especially the growth mindset challenge. You did talk
Ah.
about people wanting need to be ready and things like that. What do you think that can be done to manage these challenges? A part of the 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 the, the basics that the organizations are doing. What else could they do? What can L&D function do to encourage organization to move towards more productive learning?
Yeah, I think just now answering, if I'm not mistaken, Hazman's question, right? That
hmm.
is actually one of the interesting methods that I have used before. Kojit asked me what are the initiative or activities that we can do in inculcating the learning by, you are free to learn any subjects under the sun. You can learn coding, you can learn cooking, you can learn public speaking, you can learn finance for non-finance if you like. You can learn economics, and you can learn investment right now, right? So these are the topics that can actually instill the culture of learning, Kojit. If you have this kind of behaviors in the organization, and you have this flexibility in the organization, I think eventually people will want to learn. And then when you want to introduce something that functional that they have to go through by law or by pro, it's easily acceptable already, because it's already a norm for them to learn new things. There's always have this kind of daily or a weekly or monthly things that, okay, I will learn something new today. It's something very, very good practice from some of the organizations that I've gone through. Some of the organizations that I've visited have this kind of culture, have this kind of activity. I think it's very simple, but it works. Trust me, it really, really does work.
Fantastic.
Actually, when I was telling Kojit and Shirin, I wanted to be an Iron Man. I got the aspiration when I visited Mind Valley. So yeah, so basically it's actually, oh, okay, this guy is an Iron Man. He's also a very good HR person, well respected, very knowledgeable. Then he does Iron Man, so I want to learn from him. So learning from him means tagging him along, and really understand what he does. So I got to find out that he's also doing a marathon. So I started running with him. So I registered 10 kilometers. At the start, it's very simple, 10 kilometers. So how to run 10 kilometers? I run 1 kilometer also semput. You know what I mean? So those are small learning. Actually, sometimes people overcomplicate learning, Koji. Kan? At first, to be rightfully honest with the audience here today afternoon, you start learning first, how do you breathe when you are running at least a 5 kilometer pace or 10 kilometer pace. Then when you always are familiar with, oh, you learn a lot. You learn a lot, and you can grow by. Those were the days when you learn by reading only. Now there's a lot of avenues, basically, Koji. Yeah.
Agreed. Bit size learning will be the best. So Sherin, you
Yeah.
and me should start doing some learning as well. Bit size learning.
Important. Let's do that.
Sherin is so busy, no time to learn.
Hey, learning never stops. Last week I was in Vietnam, okay, for our clients training.
Wow.
I
So
was
what did you
supposed to
learn?
be
What did you
doing
learn?
work, and I didn't do any work. I was just in the training. My mind was in the training. Of course, I was facilitating also, but yeah, that's where I learned a lot.
Interesting, interesting. Okay, we have few more questions before we come to the end of the session. For the audience, you can please post your questions or you can comment as we go along. Today we have got Ryan with us sharing his experience. So feel free to post whatever you want clarity on, especially when it comes to about learning and development. Okay, boleh?
Yeah. Uh,
Sure.
Good stuff. Going back to the title of today's topic, right? Learning at the speed of business growth. What are some of the best techniques that you can give our audience to accelerate learning and development? Make it really quick.
Okay, yeah, this is very interesting and it's very close to me because, like I mentioned just now at the start, kan, Shireen, we want to expand our outlet size. This is just, I answer your question by sharing what we have done.
Uh-huh.
So we have 100 outlets and we want to scale to 300 over outlets. So 300 over outlets equates to 300 managers, 600 assistant managers, and a load full of employees that needs to be trained on how to deliver pizza, do pizza, opening a shop, do safety briefing, do safety check, a lot of training. And when you want to scale that amount of outlets in a short stint of time, you have to be flexible and you have to be creative. You really cannot go through the traditional classroom, 25 people, 25. It will take you more years to go to where you are and to achieve what you want to achieve. So to answer your question, what we did is we leverage on technology as best as we can. So we do bite-sized learning, we distribute learning materials via WhatsApp, short 1 minute, 2 minute video via WhatsApp or via Telegram. We do short videos via our LMS. We do short posters, and then we do short classroom also. We do longer classroom also. So in other words, in short, in stint, we do everything that is under the sun to ensure that the knowledge, the information, reach to the audience faster. Because the idea is that we are going against time. The KPI is by December you have to have this X outlet and this amount of thousands of people needs to be trained. And if you want to go through the maths, the normal traditional methods of facilitating classroom, you cannot. You do 24 hours also, you cannot fit them. So you really have to leverage a lot of avenue.
Yeah.
So what we did is we do on the, of course lah, the standard on the job, LMS, the YouTube and everything. And then to ensure that they are actively eager to learn, what we did is we do, this is inspired by American Idol and also Academy Fantasia audience. So American Idol, everybody wants to be a singer or a magician and whatnot. So we feel that in our organization, there must be a handful of these people who are an extrovert who wants to be out there and be in the know. So we advertise, do you want to be in our learning contents or not?
Mm.
And we've got thousands of applications. Everybody's interested to be in our learning content. So we do learning content that is drama in a way. So you are literally just like watching a drama of a conversation between a store manager and a staff where he or she actually opens all of the lights in the morning when they do opening shift, where actually it results to higher electricity bill at the end of the month and the PNL, blah blah blah. It's huge, and then the company, the outlet is not making so much profit because of that. So we do drama lah. So when we do drama and we invite people to become the talent inside the drama, these people who are the talent inside the drama are the promoter. They are the catalyst. They say, hey, watch this video, I'm inside it. Watch this video, I'm inside it. So in other words, right, the video got to speed. The learning content got to speed by having catalyst, and the catalyst is actually the staff. And we actually instill and get this habit of growing this is by having them to be in our learning videos. I'm sure there's a lot of other methodologies, a lot of tricks, a lot of methods we can do, but in a nutshell, you really have to think outside of the box, tear out the box, and just be creative. And I'm really proud of that because it's something that you got to scale 100% of the size of the organization within 12 months. It's really a tall order, and if you do the maths, it's a lot of thousands of training hours, and you have to compress it. So you really have to be creative lah in a way. Yeah, I'm very fortunate that I have a lot of creative teams in my team those days.
That's great. Wow, nice to hear how you all actually did it. And when you give in a storytelling mode, it's always the better way to learn. We have a
Yeah.
comment. Hey, Sanjay, I feel more energized by your confidence when you said, yes, Ajit, I am ready. Got to learn that. Be prepared in advance for any questions or problems. I'm happy for this meeting. Thanks to all of you. That's great. Thanks,
Thank you.
Sanjay,
Yeah,
for
thanks,
the.
Sanjay.
You know, Koljit, it is. I can't believe it is 1:55, and maybe we want to
Time
have
flies.
one
Yeah.
question with Korean, and then I think we will wrap up. You
Yeah,
want
we are
to?
approaching to the end of our session. For those who have any comments, you can still feel free to put in your comments. We would like to thank Ryan for such an insightful session, and most of all, to have this serious discussion with us today and taking some time out to join us. Before we end, are there any other ways that we could be, the audience or we could be in touch with you? Should there be further questions from any one of us? Maybe perhaps your social media, you want to share it with us?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the audiences can do is to get in touch with me on LinkedIn. The name is there, Ryan. Sorry, here, Ryan. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can type exactly. I think I'm the only Ryan that are in LinkedIn with that kind of spelling lah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you can't miss me with the hairstyle.
You will shine out bright on LinkedIn.
Shine like a diamond.
Yeah.
That's right. So, guys, don't forget, we also have posted it up on the chat group. Please join Ryan, ask him any questions because he's got so much he has shared today and so much more he can share with you. So, connect with him, ask him any questions. And once again, thanks so much for joining us today, Ryan. To
Most
our
welcome. Most welcome.
Thank
audiences,
you.
thanks. To other
Thank
audiences,
you, audiences, for the brilliant questions.
I know they're so
Yeah,
energized, excited. I love the questions coming in.
yeah.
So to our audiences, our next and last episode of HRTV for the season will be on 7th December. And we're having an amazing speaker to talk about hypnotherapy. We're going to hypnotize
Wow.
everyone. If you're curious to know more, stay tuned on Compass Mind social media page for more info about it. We'll put it in the link also below. If you are a HR leader and want to be our guest for our show, drop me personally a PM on LinkedIn or an email. And if you
And
are a HR manager or planning on your next year's training, you can always drop us an email at training@compassmind.com. Ajit, back to you.
before we end the session, we would like to remind all fellow Malaysians to go and vote this Saturday. Please don't be lazy. Go early. Go prepared. Be safe. Make sure you do your Malaysian responsibility. Be part of this process, and we will see you guys in our next episode for HR Intervents. Serious discussions only. For now, bye. Thanks,
Bye.
Ryan.
Thanks, everyone. Happy
Bye.
morning.